as part of the strategy to promote tourism to further diversify the Nigerian economy, as moved by Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Details in our subsequent bulletin. Similarly, a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Treasury Management has been passed by the House of Representatives. The bill makes provision for safeguards against fraud, misappropriation, and embezzlement in the management of Treasury. Also passed by the House were a bill for an act to establish the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Agency and a bill for the repeal and enactment of the Nigeria Law Reform Commission Act. At the commencement of plenary, the Speaker, Femi Bajabiamila, following a motion raised under matters of privilege by House Minority Leader Ndudi Elumelu, urged the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, and other related agencies of government to ensure due diligence in their investigations and reports to avoid misrepresentation of facts. The issue was in relation to reports alleged to have emanated from the ICPC concerning financial allocations to the National Assembly for constituency projects in the last 10 years. Senate President Ahmad Lawan says the Ninth National Assembly will partner with Ondo State government to raise the living standards of the people. He stated this when he paid a courtesy visit on the state governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu in Akure. Olakidebello reports.
The Senate President Ahmed Lawan, who was accompanied by some principal officers and members of the Ninth Assembly, said the Senate under his watch will ensure that all federal government programs targeted at improving the living standard of Nigerians enjoy legislative support in the interest of the masses.
We believe that our party platforms were the platforms that provided opportunity for all of us to be there 109. But we are conveyed into that chamber to work for the betterment of the entire country.
He called on Nigerians to continue to give their support to President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration for a better Nigeria. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu commended Senator Ahmed Lawan and his entourage for coming to visit one of them, Senator Nicholas Tufomo, representing Ondo South Senatorial District, who was involved in a road accident recently, saying the visit has demonstrated good leadership by the Senate President.
We have a president that is respected all over the world. Of us have the greatest respect for him. So all of us have to work with him to take this nation to a very greater height.
The governor lauded the spirit of oneness in the Ninth National Assembly. From Akure, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Let's now turn our attention to security for Nigeria to effectively come up with homegrown solutions to tackle high security challenges. Experts are of the opinion that the nation must properly engage and reorient the politicians and security agencies. This guest on Good Morning Nigeria says it will go a long way to addressing a huge percentage of Nigeria's insecurity, which they say is mostly politically motivated. Lydia Sampson tells us more.
According to research, a global approach to tackling insecurity does not always help in the case of peculiar countries with peculiar local issues, and as a result, most countries come up with their own homegrown solutions. The guests are unanimous that firstly, solutions must be found to the root causes of the problem, and basic needs must be provided for citizens.
One thing that our leaders should be able to grapple with sooner than late. We have no faith in us, and the worst offenders here are the politicians. We tend to think anything that is foreign is superior. But I want to assure you that no foreign security solution, not even the best security operative out there, can have the native ability levels of the lowliest and the most junior security operative in here.
Now, the good news for us is that currently the Office of the National Security Advisor is revising the current national security strategy. And it may shock some of us that the first time we actually introduced one was in 2014, and now we're reviewing it.
They also reiterated the need for the deployment of technology in crime fighting.
we need to find a way of reorientating our youths. If it's possible to design a kind of, maybe a new subject or something in our curriculum, school curriculum, starting from the primary school up to secondary school level, to let these youths know that crime does not pay. I continue to emphasize that we are politicizing our security architecture, and that shouldn't be.
Gaston Good Morning Nigeria called for more collaboration amongst security agencies and volunteers for better security synergy across board. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Reports just reaching us says President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the Executive Order 009 entitled The Open Defecation Free Nigeria by 2025 and other related matters. In the order, Nigeria is committed to being open defecation free by 2025. To achieve this, the established National Secretariat called Clean Nigeria Campaign Secretariat at the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. The Secretariat is authorized on behalf of the President to implement this order by ensuring that all public places, including schools, hotels, fuel stations, places of worship, marketplaces, hospitals, and offices have accessible toilets and latrines within their premises. All ministries, departments, and agencies of government are also expected to cooperate with the Clean Nigeria Campaign Secretariat. The National Assembly and the State Houses of Assembly shall enact legislation on the practice of open defecation with appropriate sanctions and penalties. All development projects shall include construction of sanitation facilities as an integral part of the approval and implementation process. The Secretariat shall terminate when Nigeria is declared open defecation free. All enforcement authorities are hereby directed to diligently collaborate with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources in implementing this order. The Executive Order 009 came into being against the background that Nigeria is ranked second amongst the nations in the world with the highest number of people practicing open defecation, estimated at over 46 million people, a practice which has had a negative effect on the populace and has contributed to the country's failure to meet the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, MDGs. President Buhari had described the statistics on open defecation and access to pipe-borne water service and sanitation as disturbing and had declared commitment to implement the National Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene Action Plan. The president had declared a state of emergency on Nigeria's water supply, sanitation and hygiene sector, the action being imperative as it will reduce the prevalence of waterborne diseases in different parts of the country which have caused preventable death. Nigeria has committed to end open defecation throughout the country by 2025 in consonance with her commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This executive order takes effect from Wednesday, November 20th, 2019. Benue State government has pledged its continued support to military formations in the state to ensure peace and national security. The state deputy governor, Benson Abuno, made this known when senior officers of Corps 42 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, visited him at Government House, Makudi. Ben Hanya reports.
The delegation, made up of 32 officers drawn from the Nigerian Army, Air Force, and Navy, is in the state as part of their training. Benue State Deputy Governor Benson Abono commended the Nigerian military for tackling the high level of insecurity in the state, which has brought relative peace.
But for the soldiers of the Nigerian Army in particular, and with the help of the Navy and the Air Force, that provided services on water and services in air, perhaps Benue State would have been overrun.
Leader of the delegation, Brigadier General A.U. Kulia, said participants of Course 42 are to take a study tour of 6 states in understanding the culture and efforts of the various state governments to improve on the living standards of their people as an aspect of national security.
A few hours or a day that we spent, we've seen that whatever effort you are putting in place is really working.
The theme of the exercise is assessing states and local governments' efforts in enhancing national security development. In Makurdi, Bem Kanya, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with former President Goodluck Jonathan on his 62nd birthday, joining the nation in praying for longer life, good health, and more strength for him to keep serving the nation. President Buhari believes the former president's legacy of